Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we last reviewed Agatha All Along. There are two reasons for that. One, there were so many better offerings in entertainment that took precedent because if I can say something positive, I'd rather do that. But if negative criticism and mocking bad television shows is something that turns you off, then this is not the video for you. Two, if you have watched Agatha All Along, especially episodes 3, 4, or 5, then you know that there's nothing to review. Literally nothing happens in this show. There is no real action, no conflict, no tension, no plot, nothing. It is absolutely nothing. Now, before I go any further, when I reviewed episode 3, it upset a lot of people. To all of those who were extremely upset, I just want to say this. It's a shitty television show. It may be the worst television ever put on Disney+, even worse than Echo, worse than The Acolyte. It may be the worst thing put on television in all of 2024. This is a show that has one bad idea and then follows the instructions on the back of the shampoo bottle, rinse and repeat. Episode 3, the coven of DEI witches are on the witch's road. They come across a house, they go into it, they change clothes, they do something, they move on. Episode 4, the coven of DEI witches are on the witch's road. They come across a house, they go into it, they change clothes, they do something, they move on. Episode 5, the coven of DEI witches are on the witch's road. They come across a house, they go into it, they change clothes, they do something, they move on. Literally, the plot, what there is of a plot, is recycled over and over and over again. And the episodes keep getting shorter and shorter. Episode 1 was 44 minutes long, when you include all of the runtime for the opening credits and the closing credits, which usually runs 8 to 10 minutes in total, until you get all the way to episode 5, which clocks in at 24 minutes of actual showtime. Again, not that anyone is watching this stuff, the ratings for Agatha All Along after the first 2 episodes, 9.3 million people worldwide watched episodes 1 and 2 in the first 9 days. The Penguin had 3.2 million in the US alone in the first 3 days of its premiere, and its audience increased 17% when episode 2 premiered. Agatha All Along dropped 33% of its audience for episode 3. Numbers for episode 4 have not been released, except that Disney did say it was number 10 on its platform for original content. Again, not a great number because really, how much original content is there currently on Disney+? And a new thing to pump up the ratings is not only to include how many people watch the show, but how often the title was searched for. Just so everyone knows, search results are not viewership numbers, and they shouldn't be, but it's the only way Disney can manipulate the numbers to save any type of face. And right about now, you're probably asking, well, what happens in episode 4 and 5 anyways? Okay, I'll tell you. Episode 4, first things first, dig a hole for Mrs. Hart, the non-witch that was a substitute for a green witch that is necessary to open the road. But that's okay because there are no real rules to this universe, only convenience so the writers don't have to think so hard. Anyways, she's dead, poisoned in episode 3, and the rest of the coven is really broken up about it because of their long history and deep relationship with this middle-aged woman that they've only known for a few hours. But don't worry, Agatha is there to remind us that there are no rules and gives us a wink and a nod indicating that Mrs. Hart is probably going to be alright by the end of the series. Which means that there are no real stakes or consequences in this show. Or better yet, how does Melvin Udall write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
But wait a minute. Old Lady Witch reminds them that they still need to replace Mrs. Hart with another green witch. And yes, I know, that makes no sense because Mrs. Hart isn't a green witch, so you have nothing to replace. But that is Agatha, the show with no logical sense to anything the plot tries to do. Agatha then wishes she had a spell book, and Wiccan just pulls one out of his ass, so Agatha, a witch with no power, is going to cast a spell. Okay, she's going to summon a green witch to the road. Okay, didn't think that was a thing. Then, if that is a thing, then why didn't she just sing the song herself in episode 1, open the road herself, then summon whoever she needed then? Why go to all the monotony of pressuring witches with little to no power into doing it with her?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Never mind. Agatha summons a green witch, and Aubrey Plaza, Rio, appears. What are the odds? Agatha was actively avoiding her, but lo and behold, Agatha now summons her. The other witches look at Rio like the thirst trap that she is. I believe the line is,
honestly, I don't know how to feel. Do I hate her or do I want her phone number?
Just in case you forgot that this is the
gayest Marvel project ever.
So episode 1, dead woman, need to gather witches. Episode 4, dead woman, need to gather more witches. Okay, got it. Then the group begins to walk and a house appears out of nowhere and they have to go inside, where their clothes magically change. Except this time, because it's a new episode, they're going to be dressed like hooker hippies and for some reason, Eddie Izzard. Again, episode 3, mysterious house, they enter, change clothes, and there's a test to take. Episode 4, mysterious house, they enter, change clothes, and there's a test to take. They literally tell each other to not touch or eat or drink or move anything in the house, so Wiccan starts to play a record that says, "Play me," because he's an idiot and has been written that way since the show began. Now they are all cursed by a generational curse, the Asian Witch's curse. Now before this, the Asian Witch, and no, the characters are not interesting enough to learn their names. The Asian Witch sees a picture of her mother, who, let's remind you, is a witch and also a music celebrity, to which the old lady witch asks about her, and the Asian Witch replies that her music fans were her coven. So I guess everyone and anyone is a witch now? I didn't know that's how that works. If you went to this woman's concert, then you're a witch, whether you wanted to be or not? Okie dokie. Now this generational curse marks them with fire, and the curse is also represented by a red rubber demon with wings. It took me a moment to realize that it was a real person in a costume and not a puppet because it looks so laughable. A metronome starts ticking down because this house is music themed. It has a recording studio and various instruments. And instead of midlife crisis wine drinking in episode 3, we are doing midlife karaoke crisis because the only way to cure the curse is to sing the song. And you know what song that is, except this is the alternative road version. And yes, they need to sing the song Witchy to make it work. Their words, not mine. They sing, the demon disappears, a hole opens up in the piano, they leave. Oh yeah, Wiccan is stabbed or hurt or something because playing the guitar will cause these types of injuries. Anyway, Wiccan is dead. Just kidding. There are no rules or consequences or tension or real conflict in the show. He's not dead. All Wiccan needs is some water and moonlight. Yep, water and moonlight to cure his wound and he'll be okay. The rest of the 10 minutes of the show is a middle-aged therapy session where they talk about how they identify. Well, I identify as bored after watching this. And Rio tells Agatha, right before Agatha tries to kiss her, because we needed to remind you again that this is the
Gayest Marvel project ever.
That Wiccan is not her son Nicholas, which is supposed to be a shocker, except we all know that he's Wiccan because the marketing department for Marvel already told us that. Then Agatha walks off, that's the end, that's episode 4, and I wish I never called episode 3 the worst TV show of 2024, because episode 4 said hold my wine. Then comes episode 5, and here is where you really understand that Jack Schaefer, the head writer, is in way over her head. The Salem 7, you remember the Salem 7? From that 2-minute intro in the second to last episode of WandaVision back in 2021? No? Okay, well, they want to kill Agatha because she killed them, including her own mother. They have entered the Witch's Road because Agatha left the door open, which she didn't because when you watch episode 2, she literally slams it shut behind her. But okay, writing is hard. Well, the Salem 7 is there to kill them all. So they spend 3 minutes enchanting sticks to ride them like broomsticks, to which Old Lady Witch says they don't like that because it is stereotypical and a sign of female domestication. Sorry, Harry Potter fans, you're all a bunch of female oppressing Neanderthals. So they take off in the night. Agatha and Rio look at each other longingly because we need to be reminded that
Gayest Marvel project ever.
They crash and have to run into a mysterious house that just appeared. This time, 1980s cabin in the woods style. And they're all dressed for either a sleepover or an aerobics class. The test this time, use a Ouija board. The next 5 minutes is Agatha pretending that it works. It's cringy and it's weird. Then it works. And the spirit that contacts them is named Death, which means Rio is manipulating everything because we all know that Rio is actually Death because the marketing department for Marvel already told us. Turns out the real test is to punish Agatha. That's how they'll all survive. There is then talk about how to punish Agatha, including all the other women tying her up and in some way humiliating her. I'm leaving that one alone. You can use your own imagination. The spirit of Agatha's mom then possesses Agatha, and she looks like a parody of Scary Movie, which was a parody of The Exorcist. It is not scary. It's not even well done. They even rip off the spider walk from the original movie. But they fix this by turning on the lights because electricity counteracts demonic possession. We all know that. The ghost of Agatha's mother then appears and tells her that she should have killed her the moment she was born. So we have a mother to a child who wishes she killed her when she first left the womb, and a daughter who killed her own mother and sold her newborn for magical powers. And Marvel can't figure out why not many people are rooting for Agatha to succeed. These are not sympathetic characters. Agatha is then possessed again. An Asian witch, who had no real power to begin with, all of a sudden has power, and she blasts the ghost from Agatha. But Agatha is also draining Asian witch of this very same power, and Asian witch dehydrates like beef jerky and dies. Wiccan then uses the Ouija board to reveal how to punish Agatha properly by saying the name of Nicholas Scratch, the name of Agatha's baby that she sold. How is this a punishment? I don't know. Agatha has never expressed any remorse over doing what she did. Now, after enjoying taking the Asian witch's power, Agatha now looks sad because Asian witch is dead, because wild mood swings are a plot device in this show. From here, Rio actually disappears from the episode, a door opens up, and they leave. Back on the road, Agatha tells Wiccan that he's just like his mother, who's Wanda, by the way, if you haven't figured that out either. Then the other two witches throw Agatha into a sinking bog. She drowns, but again, there's no real reason to worry here because there are still 4 episodes left and she's the main character. Wiccan then goes all Scarlet Witch and throws the African-American witch and the old lady witch into that same bog. They drown. Finally, something I can get behind in the show. Thank you, Wiccan. And then it ends. This show makes absolutely no sense. It never has. It's a mess. It really seems like they were just making it all up as they went along. Over halfway through the series, and besides being on the Witch's Road, there is actually no plot or end goal or narrative established. It's just a meandering, lazy display of Marvel thinking they can just release subpar entertainment while believing they're immune to the law of diminishing returns. And that's it. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want some positivity, click on the thumbnails at the end of this video for my general movie review playlist and my retro movie review playlist. As always, thanks for watching. And remember, I'm still your reluctant gringo from somewhere south of the border. Salute and a huevo.